Well, I don't think we will ever have to worry about the Markcast logo being mistaken for the XFL logo ever again. How are you doing, Andrew?
I'm great, Reed. And yeah, this is a brand win for you. So congratulations.
We own now. I have the Markcast sweatshirt. I have the XFL Black Friday hat on. Hopping on here a little early so we can preface stuff. We have people standing by waiting, so I thought that would be good. Andrew, thank you so much for hopping on. It's about 8:42. We have about 18 minutes to go till the big countdown. We are going to keep this spoiler free until the big announcement. A lot of stuff has been coming out last night, and then we'll kind of dissect all that stuff as well. Andrew, what did you think of the big XFL thing, the website coming up this week?
I can't say anything else besides finally, but I think that goes for everyone and most people who follow this league. It's been a long time coming, and I think the timing is just perfect because honestly, we're in this month now, sports calendar wise, where a lot of things are going to be happening. We just finished March Madness, the Masters and MLB come back on Thursday. The NFL draft is this month, NBA playoffs are this month. So as far as trying to hit that spot, and of course also the USFL is coming back next week, and all the hype we'll be building for that next week. So for the XFL to kind of hit its spot right now is kind of imperative, honestly, because it's important for them to start to get the ball rolling on their announcements.
I did laugh. I had a little bit of the I tweeted yesterday. It felt a little Daniel Plainview in There Will Be Blood, if anyone's ever seen that movie. And at the end of the movie, yeah, Paul Dano, kind of like the USFL, thinking he's got the upper hand. Daniel Plainview's got a plan. Now, keep in mind, Daniel Plainview ends up being crazy, played by Daniel Day-Lewis. But it felt a little bit of like, I drink your milkshake today. You know, we're getting ready for the USFL watch. This is really good timing for them. Like you said, it's a long time coming. I'm certainly glad. And, you know, for us that do live streams and podcasts and stuff, I very much appreciate the heads up of like, hey, we're going to do it. I don't like the 5 a.m. news drops that certain all football leagues do. So I very much appreciate them working with our schedule to get this going.
Yeah, thank you for not dropping it in the middle of a 9 a.m. meeting. I very much appreciate that because that's happened too many times.
Yeah. So we'll preface stuff before we get in. So big show still coming up on Friday. Whatever happens today, we are gonna dissect everything. Matt Lyons with XFL News Hub is going to come back on the show this week. I'm excited to have Matt on. We have our big Victor Quee interview as well, President and CEO of the Edmonton Elks. We're also going to have Nick Solsky come on. He's with PointsBets Canada, talking about sports betting and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, with the they have a new partnership with the Red Blacks. Kind of how is sports betting going to save the CFL? And then we have Jake Wieneke coming on as well. So it's going to be a big show. So Andrew is joining me today. We're going to be breaking all this down, but then we're going to dissect all this stuff coming up on Friday. So make sure that you check that out. The other note I was going to say is Andrew is also going to be joining me next Saturday. We're going to be going live from the USFL kickoff in Birmingham. We have our big slate of guests. We've already announced all that stuff. So be excited for that as well.
I'm just trying to set the guest record at this point. I'm coming for those records. You mentioned, I think last week, Jim Mullen has been on quite a number of times. I guess I'm chasing him now.
Jim Mullen, four-time guest. Andrew's my ride or die right now. I said I was going to be going live here, doing this live stream. Andrew said I'm ready to hop on. You know, it's hard sometimes. XFL, people work from home, all this stuff. Yeah, see, Max likes my third revelation. Very much. If you guys have not seen There Will Be Blood, it very much felt like a drainage, I drink your milkshake moment right there. So we're not talking spoilers, but what do you think of the idea of an XFL rebrand here coming into the new season, trying to separate from the XFL 1.0 and 2.0?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, it's no longer Vince McMahon's vision, right? It's Danny Garcia and the Rock's vision, and that vision is of a different generation, different mindset, different way of attacking different marketing angles. It's so separate in the sense of not just the traditional bringing more fun and excitement to football, but also just in terms of exposure and getting more people involved. I think this is kind of their way of separating themselves from that angle that used to exist. Even with 2.0, obviously there were still some parallels or comparisons to the 2001 version, even though they had very little in common besides ownership. I think for Danny and for The Rock, this is really their way of saying, look, it's the same name, but this is completely different. And it's going to be their vision going forward. And I think it's their line in the sand, basically saying, this is the point of no return.
What do you think of, and we have a question here. James has putting the zip codes in. We have the website here, the countdown. This came on, I guess it was 9 p.m. Pacific on Monday, so midnight, right, East Coast. What do you think of this, putting in the zip code to sign up?
That's interesting. I don't know what the regional preference there is. I've never heard of that before, but I would think that has to do with maybe seeing where interest is drawn as far as who is watching, who's engaging, and who is potentially interested in, who knows, bringing a franchise to their doorstep from the XFL. I think it's just more. I mean, it's also maybe just, again, it's more of the marketing angle of like accumulating information and kind of knowing where their fan base is. But that's interesting. I don't think that's really common for usually, like when you sign up for a newsletter or for an information, it's usually just the email. So that angle is interesting.
Yeah, Van brings up data samples. I totally get that, but they had the email sign up before where it was like,
Hmm.
have your team of choice, kind of all that stuff. So it does seem weird that I don't know. That doesn't really make sense to me why they would do that. But O'Brien said, heat map, we got that kind of stuff. Um, it's interesting. The rebrand, I get the moving away. What is weird to me is they would do the Black Friday hat, God, that feels like ages ago now. And then but I'm in Canada, so I always put the White House zip. That's good. It just,
I
it's
like
just
that.
odd to me that you would do like the Black Friday hat, you would do the shirt, and then this does feel a little bit like an about face that way, right? Like, well, maybe we weren't going to change it too much, because I just couldn't imagine releasing that merchandise, pulling it back. And then it's weird. I don't know. Everything we have now is vintage, right? My XFL Dragons jersey and kind of all that stuff. Interesting about that. Gregory is hoping for a big day. Spring football needs more teams to be long success. Ghost down. Andrew, what do you think of them kind of hopping into the USFL freight train bandwagon right now? Kind of, jumping in, interrupting kind of what was going on there.
Yeah, I don't want to say they're hijacking the train, but they're certainly straddling along. They're on horseback, running along beside it right now. I think part of that is because of the beginning to have people get back into the idea of spring football. That kind of the mindset is starting to change. Again, also, this is a very important month for football in general, obviously with the NFL draft. So I think everyone had their time away from it. March Madness came through, February came through. People kind of detoxed from the last season. So I think for the XFL, it's sort of just getting more into that idea and that exposure, and that might also continue to grow once people realize that football's on TV with the USFL. Then maybe that exposure will continue. Maybe people will start to look further into, oh well, there's actually other spring leagues, or this is not just this season. There might be football next season. So that's something that I think now is a good time to start jumping on that trend. Maybe they thought more people would start to notice.
I will say, I think competition breeds success. I mean that. I was talking with listener Harrison last night. He's one of our big supporters, and he goes, I think that having the XFL, that's bringing interest to the USFL and vice versa. I've never been a fan of the competition of this, and I think that as long as the USFL stays around, right, we don't want like another mark on whatever. But having this success in the spring in a multitude of ways is only going to be better for the XFL. and the USFL, fan control football, all that stuff, you know, the continued failure of these leagues, or however you want to call it, them pulling the plug early, that's not good. So USFL being successful benefits the XFL as much as the XFL being beneficial benefits USFL. So, I mean, I know we throw shade around here, and I'm sure we'll have a lot to dissect with the XFL when all this stuff comes out. But, you know, let's be nice all around. I think there's benefits to be had on both sides.
No, you're absolutely right, Reed. I mean, it builds skepticism when things fail and products fail and ideas fail. And then people think, well, that will never work. That idea will never come to fruition. And, there was a long period of time where we really didn't have traditional spring football. Maybe I can remember growing up and when I was in school, and sometimes I would watch NFL Europe, and that would be kind of like spring football. I mean, it would be in the off season, but it wasn't really like it in the traditional sense. I think now that the idea is starting to become more common. I mean, now we're going to have, if all goes according to plan, next year we're going to have like 3 different iterations of this. We're going to have fan controlled football, USFL, and XFL. I mean, that's a lot. That's way more football I can ever remember in the off season. And if you have all 3 of those going at the same time, I mean, that's just, and they're all potentially 3 very unique different variations of it. So I think more the merrier. It just shows that it can be executed in different ways, because you don't want people not buying into the idea and completely like destroying the idea.
So just to preface here, where you got about 7 minutes to go to the countdown, StreamYard will not allow us, when we screen share, you don't get the audio carried into the feed. I have the announcement video. We don't need to talk about how Reed has the announcement video. So we're going to see what happens on the website here. If it's a video, we'll click it, we'll watch it, we'll commentate over it, and then I will be able to play the video. So if you guys are listening, or I'll probably post this on the audio feed as well afterward, we'll have all that stuff. So it'll be a step 1, step 2. So just bear with us. That's just the way it is, but we have the backup plan. I already have it loaded. So, I don't believe it wasn't so much like the spoiling of it. It was just like, I don't know. I just don't think a lot of thought was put behind it. I think that we're getting ready for this. I think a lot of people were upset. I know we have some of our listeners that were upset that things were spoiled. So I get that. So we're going to enjoy this together. And then I have all that. If there's anything else, we'll work through that. But I have the announcement video we'll be able to play and kind of keep you guys up to date. So
Yeah, I mean, look, the internet is a vast amount of information. It is also a vast amount of exploitable information. There are easy ways to get around these things. I've had friends who have found or heard of loopholes around like certain ways that you enter a URL, or you can get to a video or something else that's not listed properly early on. Like this stuff happens. Like it happens a lot, and I think it's a little bit unfortunate for the XFL, just based on the fact that they maybe weren't expecting such due diligence from their fan base or from people who really wanted that announcement. I mean, if anything, it shows enthusiasm. People really want to get their hands on it, but you also don't want that, being out of your hands. You want to be in control of that. And that's what they've controlled the narrative, I guess you could say, or they've controlled all the information so far so carefully. The only thing that got out really was that Reggie Barlow story with San Antonio. That's the only thing that I can think of that leaked out. So I think for them, they probably think it's a little uncharacteristic because they've been so careful this whole time.
It is weird. If anyone from Redbird, managing $4 billion in capital, if anyone wants to chat with me, I'm happy to fill you in on YouTube best practices, when you should use an unlisted video, when you should use a private video, what premieres are, all sorts of different things. Happy to help with that. I think having more people in the room and in the conversation sometimes, it kills me, because we had this whole thing with the XFL shop where we basically hacked the shop, and you used to be able to put in the password. And now if we go to the XFL shop here, they've taken that away. So, clearly they know, right? Like people are going to be in all this stuff. It's just funny to me that no one thought, okay, they're going to, anyway, it's weird. I don't want to get too much into that, but Another preface before we get going on this, I plugged at the top of the show. Andrew is going to be with me next weekend. We're going to be live in Birmingham for the USFL kickoff. Please like and subscribe. Lots of work going into building up that guest list for next weekend. We have Roy Johnson with AL.com coming on. We have Rod Fredrickson, who is a former USFL Stallions player. He's going to be in attendance there. Mark Perry is going to be zooming in, XFL News, USFL News Hub, editor-in-chief. Mike Mitchell, everyone's best friend, is going to be on that. We'll have to talk to I think Mike has some fun stories about this whole XFL leak that maybe we can get Mike to talk about at that point. Andrew's going to be there. We have Dustin with Royal Retros is going to be on there. Am I missing anyone? I think that's 6.
Yep, I believe that was 6. Yeah,
it's going to be good. And then we have our regularly scheduled show coming up on Friday, 7 a.m. Matt Lyons, XFL News Hub writer, is going to be on. Andrew and I are going to break this down today, and then Matt and I will kind of do a recap with the show. We have Victor Quee's interview coming up, president and CEO of the Edmonton Elks. That is a really fun one. You do not want to miss that. I give Victor a new idea for what the Elks should be called. If the BC Lions are America's CFL team, I have a new slogan that we're going to try to incorporate with the Elks. So should be fun.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And I actually have done some little bit of research on the venue since we're going to be there. It looks great. I think you picked an excellent location, and hopefully also the weather will hold up, which I imagine it will. This time of year, it starts to get pretty warm in Birmingham. So I'm really looking forward to it.
I think it should be good. We're at the Southern Kitchen Restaurant and Bar. It's literally across the street, and I believe they have like a rooftop patio. I think if the world works out well, we'll have Protective Stadium as our backdrop for that. Should be really fun. My wife Dorothy's going to be in attendance. A lot of work is going into putting that show together, coordinating all that stuff. So like I said, please like and subscribe. Get ready for that as well. Yeah, we got 2 minutes here. I'm going to update the banner here. Let me get rid of that. Any other thoughts on, do you like the idea of doing the blackout? Do you like the idea of teasing? What do you think of the strategy the last 2 days?
I like that a lot because, again, it gets people's attention because something that you expect to be there suddenly isn't. You start to wonder, well, what's going on? Instead of it just kind of dropping out of the sky and being like, oh, that's weird. They changed the logo. That didn't seem like that was the case. No, they've been building up to this, and they were alluding to it on Instagram and their social media on Sunday, if I'm not mistaken. They both Danny Garcia and The Rock were starting to do that. So already you started to sense something was up, and then they replaced the logo. So it's kind of it's breadcrumbs. Like they're leading with breadcrumbs. That's what they've been trying to do this whole time. So I like it. I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, Van says rain in the forecast for Birmingham. Oh, I think we have sweet tickets. I think Brett with the True XFL and USFL Facebook group. I think he's got us. Well, James, yeah, but I don't want to have to live podcast in the rain. I don't care about sitting in the rain to watch a game or playing in the game. I care about podcasting the game. Yeah. All right, we have 37 seconds here. I guess we'll let the site go and then we'll see. Now again, remember guys, if they play a video, I have the video, so we'll do it afterwards. So we'll watch, we'll see what happens. We can't get the audio from the site, but I'll route it in afterwards. So should be fun here. 19-18. We will play that along. Very exciting. 12, 10. Are we counting down in the chat? Here we go. No one.
Like weird.
Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now it's negative numbers. Wow. Negative. Let's refresh here. No, nothing. Well, that's interesting. Anything on there? So, here we go. Yep, we got the new logo. We got the backdrop. So here we have the video. Here we go.
Okay.
So this is the video. I'm going to play it, and then we'll talk about the logo. We'll talk about all that stuff. So let me get over to the brand. You're going to lose Andrew and I for a minute. We're going to play along with this, and you guys can watch and listen.
Football is fueled by dreams. To go further, get there faster. Those wins don't just happen.
They must be claimed. Work for today, achieved together. The XFL is where the full potential of football is realized, both on and off the field.
Give cities new reasons to cheer, partners new platforms to build on, people a deeper sense of fandom.
And athletes a new path to live their passion and play professional football. This is tomorrow's league.
Driven by a new purpose and a shared commitment. Powered by new leadership. This is for all of us, and the only way to get there is together.
To change how football is experienced, where passion meets a field of possibility.
Tomorrow's league starts today.
Welcome to the XFL.
There we go. Worked out pretty well how I got that going. So there you go. There is the new XFL logo. I still don't have the new site. Do you have the new site? There we go. Brand new site. Here we go. Just refresh. XFL. We're going with the minimalistic logo. Guys, leave your comments in the chat. You know, are we liking this? Are we liking this? The new logo is awful. New site said, yes, we got this. So this, I assume, takes us to the YouTube. Okay, so we got that going. Very much the same as before. It seems like a revamp of this. Redefining football's future. Hear from us first. We're signed up on that. And otherwise looks just like a fresh coat of paint on the website. Shop is the shop. Shop is still not up. If you had your bets on, when the XFL shop was going to be revamped. Are you surprised they don't have any merch up right now?
I'm not, because I think they still have to do team announcements and they still have to change names. I mean, you could do some like XFL generic logoing. That is one thing I thought would be there, like hats, t-shirts, bottles, like the bottles that they had, for example, or a variation of it, the water bottles. But yeah, that's interesting. I guess they're just waiting for that rollout.
All right, so let's read through their press release here, and then we will talk about, we'll get your thoughts on the logo. Bold, modern design captures new brand vision, harnessing the power at the intersection of sports and storytelling. R/GA, a renowned brand innovator, selected as the agency of record, helping build the league's visual identity. Watch the ownership's vision behind. So that goes back to that video. Just want to make sure there wasn't any additional videos. Today, the XFL announced the innovative new brand identity that aligns with its vision, values, and purpose ahead. Fans can watch the brand reveal. We're proud to unveil the new identity of the XFL, a strong, dynamic, and modern look that embodies our vision of pushing football forward and unleashing the dreams that football makes possible. So this is Danny Garcia. I want to see here. They have brand pillars. Co-creation. Okay, here we go. The new logo and visual identity. The new visual identity centers around the idea that the XFL is the intersection of opportunity and captures the essence of the league's vision. The XFL is pushing football forward. To do that, the brand needs to be modern, dynamic, and inviting. I would not use the word inviting with this logo. Would you use the word inviting?
Yeah, not quite. I think the lack of color is really telling, because every other league logo has some sort of variation of color or more character to it. But this is more like an athletic brand, kind of. It more seems to be more generic in terms of like the Under Armour logo, for example. I think you posted that yesterday, actually. I think you were comparing it to it, kind of like looking sideways at it. I don't know if inviting is the word, but it's definitely generic, I guess. I hate to use that word. Yeah.
This is what I tweeted last night. I was pretty proud of that one. I thought if you like the XFL logo, very much that came to my mind. They say here, gearing up, the XFL continues to build its league across all functions. It prepares to kick off in February. Guys, what do you think of the chat? What do you think? Were you expecting more today? We got a lot of oof. NHL logo is black and gray. Gregory Crawford, is there more to come? I don't mind the X part of this. I think that is, I could see that at a 50-yard line, right? Having just the X there, really kind of simple way to paint that. I don't mind this like on shirts and stuff. I don't hate it. I'm not trying to be like an XFL homer. I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. I think it's very much a drastic departure, and it is along the lines of that minimalistic look that kind of a lot of brands are going for nowadays.
Yeah, and I understand the idea of going for less is more. It's just I think it's the idea of kind of departing from so much character in the last logo. But again, this is, as I said at the top, this is a separation for Danny Garcia and The Rock to create their own vision and go for something. And they clearly have so much tied to athletic brands. Like that's been such a topic of conversation. This is clearly their way of branding it. And I think what they have to now do, I think, is trying to tie the characterization and the personality of the league with their marketing strategy. It can't just come off as like we're selling something, we're a corporate structure, because that's, I think, something that can alienate some people. That's the only thing they have to be careful about. But otherwise, I mean, the logo's fine. As you said, it's minimalistic, it's non-offensive. There's nothing garish about it or anything. It's fine.
Yeah, got a lot of negative. We're losing Andrew there. A lot of negativity. Really hate this. When the heck are they going to announce? I do think doing the countdown this way, I think like people are going to expect more. I say this as well about the USFL, and I was talking with Dorothy about this last night with the XFL. I do not think all the time that the people that are involved in this league really understand how all football fandom works. I think the USFL gets into that as well sometimes, where people have these expectations. I understand I understand maybe they're not the timeline that people want to work, but like you put a countdown on a website, I think people are going to be expecting a little bit more than just basically, which is a site refresh, right? I mean, they've added the YouTube video, they added the press release about that, but otherwise it's basically the same site we've had the whole time.
Well, it's something that like bands do, for example, right? Sometimes they have countdowns, and it might be to an album announcement, or it might be a concert tour announcement, which is, that's fairly big news. That's something you do. If it's just, hey, we changed our website, people would kind of be a little miffed at that. So I think this is a conservative approach for sure. And I just wonder how much they know or how much information there is. Obviously, there are tons of rumors that can be spread and go around about what's going on in the background, but I don't really know what this means as far as what we're getting. I don't know, next week or the week after. Like this, if it's just the logo, now what? Like, what's the next step? I don't know. This is where the trail kind of ends for me at the moment.
Yeah, I also like this isn't even like see how this is like all in focus? Like this looks nice. Like even this one, like it's not, you know what I mean? Like it doesn't even look clean to me. I don't know. The black and white's really minimal. I get they're going for something different. I heard too that they were, I can't unsee Axe body spray now. It was brought up that they might be going away from the red, white, red and white and blue because of the USFL, which is a very valid point. I think that that's good to, whatever, try to be different that way. But this is really, I don't know. It feels very cold to me. It feels very cold.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's kind of the risk you have with just having muted colors like that. So again, it's incumbent on other parts to kind of play into this and trying to get people interested or getting into some, again, personality, as opposed to it just seeming like a giant marketing scheme.
So see, I guess like this video, right? Okay, we're washing away the red, white, and blue. See, we have, so like, is everything going to be black and white now? Like, is that their new? We have this new. We are proud to unveil the identity of the XFL strong, dynamic, and modern look that embodies our vision of pushing football forward and unleashing the dreams. Let's look at some of the comments here. That'll be fun. Long-term answer. This is friend of the show, Peter. Long-term answer is spring football. This logo looks like a protein bar or a clothing brand. No color, no life, no soul. Absolutely. Logo looks like Axe body spray. Can't wait to be on the airways. See a lot of, fourth and long. They're our friends. It looks like Axe. I think it looks like Under Armour. I think it looks like the Under Armour. We got a lot of Battle Hawks. People are, if anyone wants Zach Arnold, here we go. Zach Arnold is applying for a job.
Wow. I'd never see that. That's a first.
I just don't know what's next. I liked the countdown. I like the pushing forward that way. Bring back Battlehawks, bring back whatever. Love it. So ready. Logo downgrade. I like the new logo. Yeah, truly just yeah, I knew. I had said if this was going to be all they had today, I could see people not being content. Let's play the video one more time. We got some more people hopping on. We're going to play the announcement video again and then continue kind of dissecting this bad boy.
Football is fueled by dreams. To go further, get there faster. Those wins don't just happen.
They must be claimed. Work for today, achieved together. The XFL is where the full potential of football is realized, both on and off the field.
Give cities new reasons to cheer, partners new platforms to build on, people a deeper sense of fandom.
And athletes a new path to live their passion and play professional football. This is tomorrow's league.
Driven by a new purpose and a shared commitment. Powered by new leadership, this is for all of us, and the only way to get there is together.
To change how football is experienced, where passion meets a field of possibility.
Tomorrow's league starts today.
Welcome to the XFL.
So there you go. Any other comments in the chat? SPHL, I don't know who you are, SPHL Rando. Send me a DM on Twitter. Maybe we can get you on if you want to talk. I think San Antonio is getting the team because the Alamo Dome has a lot of free schedule. Yeah, I mean, no one can say anything about all the red in the USFL anymore. That is true. There was a lot of criticism about the USFL having a lot of red in their logos. Now we have, I don't know, to me too, the biggest thing with this is it doesn't look like, someone's sending me a DM here. I don't see like the current Dragons logos and things vibing with this at all.
Yeah, a lot of the colors, because that's the other thing, a lot of the colors of the jerseys and the teams I thought matched the logo of the league. Now I don't know what this means for their style or the design going forward. As you were saying earlier, Reed, like a lot of your stuff is vintage now, probably because I think they're going to go through a lot of jersey redesigns. If I'm not like if I'm a betting man, I think they're going to start changing a lot of some of the designs. If not team names and cities, at least how the jerseys look, which could rub some people the wrong way based on people who are really in love with some of those designs, like maybe the Dragons designs or the Battlehawks designs or any of the other jerseys. I think this might be a big change or a big departure for a lot of people.
Yeah, I see that. I see a revamp of a lot of these things. I mean, I think like the Battlehawks, I think you could kind of minimalize that a little bit, right? Like those secondary logos. I almost see it's a logo for an energy drink. I almost see that. Like a lot of the secondary logos, like the Dragons one and stuff. I can see them doing that. James, thanks for the super chat. You know, if anyone ever wants to like basically doing this for free, I was digging through the USFL lawsuit stuff on Monday, and I think people were discovering that you have to pay to like access all of the legal stuff. And I said, yeah, I pay to do this, and I also like basically do this for free. All right, we're gonna let now. I hope this doesn't backfire on me. We're gonna let minor league rando come on now. No swearing, okay? No swearing if you hop on the podcast. I'll do listener call in too. If anyone else wants to hop on, happy to chat through this. If you have a mic, I would say no swearing and no profanity. Does that sound good, Andrew?
I'm all for it.
I am amazed that we don't have an XFL shirt or hat today. I am amazed that we don't have that.
I'm a little surprised too. I thought we would at least have a few items in the shop.
Just a hat. I mean, this is crazy. All right, Ryan, I'm worried. This was terrible. Bad first step. Listener Zach, are we expecting anything else or his website? You know, so far, this is what we got here. We're going back to the XFL on Twitter. We have the new logo. We have the new banner. We have the new press release. I know. I knew this. I feared this was going to come. We like the logo. Hopefully there's more soon because this really didn't need the dog and pony countdown. Team page is still up. Oh, that's true. Like if we do XFL Dragons. Yeah, see like that, this This does not vibe with this at all. So
Yeah.
I don't see that coming.
Yeah, I think so. I think some of these designs are going to go through a makeover.
All right, we're gonna bring minor league Randa on now. I'm telling you again, no profanity, please. No profanity on the stream, okay? There we go, sir. How are you?
All right, there we go. I'm a good boy. I don't swear. All right, I have some thoughts. Number one, this was the biggest mistake you can make because you do not make a countdown for nothing, and this was nothing. A logo, okay, we knew that with the black screen, we already knew that. You have a hype video, okay, that's cool, but where are cities, team names? That's forgivable, but just you're leading in with nothing. And I said in the chat, I'm not hyped for any more announcements because what's it going to be? Is it going to be, oh guys, we have a brand new field logo? There we go. Here's our countdown to a giant field logo. It's just okay. We just all right. Well, it's just you're hyping up for nothing, and that's going to cause a lot of people to kind of I won't say back away, but it's going to cause a lot less interest, I think.
I think they're underestimating too. So, spring football fans are very fickle, right? USFL is the hype right now. We're on that. That's great. People want something to watch. And I saw a lot of XFL people maybe that had been down on the league a little bit, like really excited Monday, Tuesday, like, oh, here we go. Right. Okay. It's coming now. We're going like, all right, boys and girls, like we're on it. I'm in a lot of private chats with a lot of like XFL admins and stuff. And then you get something like this and it does feel that same way again, where it's like, now I just think people are going to be back off the bandwagon again. Don't you think?
Oh yeah. And then I'm going to say this 100%. The leak really helped the XFL. I'm starting to wonder if that maybe was put out there on purpose a little bit, because I mean, we've seen it before where stuff gets leaked on purpose. Because imagine if we did not have the leak and that was it. Yeah, I think there would be more of a riot.
I've had conversations last night. I assure you that that it was definitely not intentional from what I have heard from the people I talked to. I think there was a lot of like panic going along with that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Why would you get panicked over nothing? Like it just feels. I think we might have some out of touch people. Not a fan of that.
Well, because they're weird. They're weird that way. They want to control everything. They want to control the narrative. They want to control the timeline. I mean, Fox is that way too at the USFL. I mean, like I've said, I don't think either of these groups really get this fan base right now and get what they're going for. I mean, this, like you said, it's supposed to be an inviting logo that is going to, bring in a new culture. Whatever. It doesn't feel inviting to me at all. It feels very cold. What is this? Let me pop this back on. Hide. So if you go in here, Brands League starts today. TBD. What is that?
Again, it's just, I think I hate being this guy, but it's like, this feels out of touch. Like, yeah. I get we're the fringe. We are the people who like watch this stuff, and probably it's an unhealthy obsession. But to the normal person, when you see, okay, we're launching our website and it says TBD, like unless you like are saying, okay, we have dates and this is when we're going to release this stuff, that looks weird. It's just I'm seeing mistake with this. And look, what Brian's saying is chat sloppy. Perfect. It's sloppy.
If anyone else, we can keep minor league on. If anyone else wants to hop on, if you're got your phone, if you want to share comments right now, I'm happy to. I don't know how long Andrew wants to hang on this bad boy, but I'm happy to hang on for a little bit. I got my work done this morning, so happy to hop on for a minute. If anyone else, if you want to you can send me a DM on Twitter and I'll send you. You're able to hop on if there's something. If you have a comment that you would like to share. James says, exactly. Literal countdown did nothing. Post the logo and video were already leaked online. I saw it last night. This was interesting. Kind of explain why the CFL boys walked away from these two. I don't know. Minor league, are you a big XFL? Were you a big XFL? Because I know you're pretty high on the USFL right now.
Oh, I was huge on. I literally on my radio show. I'm going to do a quick plug, but I won't say the location yet. But
You're
I
fine.
was literally doing XFL predictions. I was doing XFL game results. I was doing everything. I was excited, even though there was no Southern team. I'm in Northern Alabama, so you kind of get screwed a little bit. Besides Birmingham, but I was excited, and I want there to be two football leagues. I think spring football could easily be a thing. I think the USFL is our best chance right now, but it's just I'm just seeing mistakes. And besides the USFL, I'm not hot on anyone right now, especially after this XFL announcement.
Are you going to be in Birmingham next week?
Yep, I got my tickets. I'm going to be at the Southern Bar. I'll be there in Uptown, so I'll see you there.
Yeah, come say hi. We're excited. It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Andrew's going to be a quick plug. Yeah, we're going to be doing our live show at the USFL kickoff. Andrew, any thoughts here?
No, I think there's been some good points made. I mean, it is very strange that it just kind of came out this way in terms of like the leaks. I don't know if I can subscribe to the conspiracy theory that the leaks were on purpose, but I do think that it is just it's deflating. I think that's the word that I would use. Is it's deflating to people who were looking forward to something really big, something huge, and then to kind of be led astray and sort of just say, well, this is it. It is, again, like I said, it's a bit of a dead end. So I agree with that. I can understand why there's a lot of disappointment. I'm kind of just more meh. And that's my general mood at the moment.
I think it would be worse if it didn't leak. Again, the XFL should be so thankful that either it was someone down low decided, okay, I'm just going to play, fast and loose and let this stuff go, and then, or just it was sloppy coding. I mean, with the HTML, you can easily find it with the Google Chrome. I mean, imagine again if this was the entire countdown, we didn't have anything. Imagine that. I mean, I would probably be on here being much more mad. It just nothing. It's nothing.
Yeah, I feel you. I knew when all this came out yesterday, I knew like if this was all that they were going to have today, I knew we were going to be in for a world of hurt because, with the XFL and even to the USFL realizes is a lot of their brand building is these, local fan bases on Twitter, on Facebook and stuff. And I think that's taken for granted sometimes. I mean, even with the USFL, right? Like we can't interview, like we're not, the coaches aren't made available for us to interview. It's like we're interviewing the people that talk to the coaches. Like it just feels weird. Like this whole thing, I don't like that. I don't like this arm's distance that we're keeping people at. We have another call in. If you want to call in, how do I hide this? Again, I will say no profanity, please, sir. We have a Russ hopping on, no profanity. Russ, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Can you hear me okay?
We can. You are loud and clear.
Okay, great. This is my normal laptop. But I was just going to say that, as you can tell from the cap, it's like I was a season ticket holder for DC. I love the product this time around. And for me, the thing that I guess kind of echoes is for the new ownership, this is the brand new start, right? We're doing a new logo. We're doing a new thing, et cetera, et cetera. What they're not factoring in is that for the fan base, we've been to games. We have favorite teams. We have all these things. We're ready to go. It's like, okay, give us the merch, give us the games, give us the names of the cities, give us coaches, give us something. And they say, logo. It's like there is a disconnect because for them this is all brand new. For us, it's like, no, we got over the brand new 2 years ago. Give us the product. Just please give us the product. We're here. We're ready. We're anxious. We'll spend money. We'll check off days on our calendars. Just give us the product. Show us product. And they're saying logo. It's like.
Hey, hold on. Oh, we also got we got a promo video with The Rock and Danny Garcia. You should be excited, Russ. Look at that. We're so excited. We got so much. We got a 1-minute promo video.
This is what I will say too, along with Russ's comment. yes, we have all been along this, right? Like, God bless Alan and Bryant, right? Like XFL. I don't like to plug a lot of like other podcasts on here, but like these guys have been podcasting for 5 years about this. Right? Like we've all been on this. Like you're coming in now and you're okay. We got the hat last year. We got this. We don't even have a hat now. I'm like, we've been on this for a long, long time. You really need to understand that. I saw James was trying to hop in. He dropped off. If anyone else wants to call in, I put the comment in the chat. Russ, any other comments from you?
No, that was basically it. I think they just need to wrap their minds around the fact that they are actually dealing with a successful brand. It is. They got us. You know, when they bought us, when they bought the league, they already got a fan base. We're ready to go. Come on, bring us something. And their minds aren't there yet. And hopefully they're going to catch on after this, because you can't keep dragging on. You know, we don't need another countdown to find out that they're changing colors on the Dragons. It's like, come on, just give us teams, give us play. You know,
we got James here as well. James, no cussing, no profanity. Okay, we're gonna add James in. Please keep it PG.
Yeah, guys. Hey, sorry, I had you on my TV here, so I didn't want to have feedback with the stream. I think I speak for everyone when I say I'm a little disappointed, a little bit emotional, because I was like a long time dedicated fan when the first, or I guess second iteration of the league shut down due to we all know what. It's just really disappointing. I wish there was more than just like PR, you know, and the announcement video sounds great. You know, we have a new vision. We have new brands. It's innovative, but like, show us more. Like, show us how you're gonna do that. This is no different than Major League Football saying we have a website. You know what I mean?
Let me pop this up here. This is interesting, real quick. So I'm back on the website. I've been looking at all this stuff while how do I get? Let's hide. Well, yeah, my face is covered. Whatever. If you see on here, so like they Photoshop now the Russ Brandon photo. We've got black and white now, right? Because like we're going back and we're taking the time to Photoshop like the old headshots now to match that. It's weird. The whole thing's very weird to me. I really don't understand that. James, we'll kick you off. I appreciate you hopping on and sharing. If anyone else wants to call in, we have Zach here. Finally, The Rock has come back down to earth. Minor league. Any other thoughts?
I said in the chat before the countdown ended, we already had the league stuff. In December 2018, the XFL 2.0 announced their cities. I don't believe they have the team names. I might be screwing that up, but it was December 2018.
You're correct. Yeah, no, they didn't.
This was the day. This was the right time. If you really wanted to mess with the USFL's momentum, you would announce cities and you would have articles saying XFL coming to blank city. They screwed up this chance. I hope they get a second chance. It's right now either you announce this month or next month, or no one's going to take you serious. And they're running out of rope. They're running out of rope quick, and that they might have overestimated a lot of stuff.
I will respond to JJ's comment here because I get this. League launches in February. Just like minor league said, we had the league, the league cities came out, and then they came out December of 18. It was a long runway before they announced it. I mean, it was August, whatever, when they announced the team. So it was not unreasonable to expect some sort of tangible cities, things like that today, working from that timeline. I hate going back to the old, well, this is what they did in 2019, but it's not unreasonable. We had the cities. We knew that Seattle was in it. We knew that a lot of these. Andrew, thoughts about that? Thoughts about comparing it to the old timeline?
I'm trying my best not to, but it's difficult not to because it was such recent memory, and there was such a attention to detail. And at least there was just more ownership to the fans in that way, as Russ mentioned, and great points made by you in terms of just this is not really what people that have followed this league for a long time or followed these leagues are expecting at this point. There's more anticipation. There's already a built-in fanship here. There's no starting over. I mean, not from the sense of like building new teams. It's like they're already here. So for this to kind of just be this more molasses approach to rolling things out, it's just sort of odd. And it's just, the timing is very strange. And I don't really understand what exactly opportunity they're looking for. What is the window? I guess I'm not sure if our window is different from their window, but it doesn't seem to be overlapping in any way, shape, or form.
Max, are you still in the chat, Max? I want to get Max's thoughts on this. I don't know if listener Max is still in the chat. He might have had to go to class. I just want to know, like, the diehards here, the people that are, we're trusting the vision, we're trusting the process. I just want to know, there's a lot of negativity. I don't want it to be a total bashing on. Really curious if you're feeling optimistic right now about the logo. I would really like someone to either chime in the chat or on the call-in, because I don't like bagging on it too much. I would like a little bit of that as well. Any other comments? The color scheme, Russ, what do you think of the color scheme?
I kind of get the hot carbon thing, but it's like, in a word, it just, I've seen a lot of this. I've been in the computer industry for many, many years. And it's like, how many logos have I seen that pretty well mapped to this? And it's just underwhelming. It is just underwhelming, and to echo an earlier point, we, when XFL 2.0 came along, it had to overcome the taste of 1.0, because there were a lot of people, XFL, XFL, whatever this is, 3.0, 2.1, I don't know what the heck it is. It's not overcoming anything. And in fact, the promises that were on this page were pretty much what we signed on to with 2.0. It's like, oh, we're going to remake football. It's going to be players football. It's going to be, it's going to be good football. It's like, and New City's like, okay. And what do they say? It's going to be new. It's going to be inventive. Yeah, we know that. That's why we're here. That was what we signed on to when 2.0 came out. So it's just, the whole thing is just underwhelming.
JJ, they have teams, cities, and most importantly, fans who are starting from the ground. They are, but I've said this for the last year. I mean, I think that it's a lot of diminishing returns. You have this fan base, and you're not taking it for granted, but you're just kind of assuming you have that built in. And the world moves so fast now. 1 week is like a month in terms of online stuff and how quickly everything works. JJ, let's get you on the show. If JJ wants to call in, happy to have JJ come in here before we get the end of this. JJ seems very passionate, which I certainly appreciate. I certainly appreciate having a variety of opinions. Minor League Rando, anything else from you?
I guess I'll go and wrap it up. I'll say on the logo, I kind of like it. I feel like if it was like maybe like a red, white, and blue for each letter, I think it would have looked a lot better. Just kind of keeping that color scheme, but not looking like Axe body spray. I think that's going to stick forever. I think that's going to be a forever comparison with that logo. Otherwise, again, running out of rope. That's all I can think of. You cannot keep pushing this all the way back and letting your fans kind of stick into this countdown to nothing. And so I have hope, but it's starting to drain every single day.
All right. Well, I appreciate you hopping on. Don't beat me up too bad on Twitter sometimes. You get a little particular, this is supposed to be fun. We're having fun. Hey. This is good to chat. I appreciate it. We will see you in Birmingham next weekend, sir. Thanks so much.
All right. We'll see you then.
Russ, anything else from you before we kick you off?
No, go right ahead. I think message delivered. It's like, come on, guys, you have people, you got fans, give us football. Just show us that you're about ready to give us some football. We're going to be happy. We're going to be there. We're going to buy tickets. We're going to buy merch. Come on.
Russ, I really appreciate you hopping on. Everyone say thanks to Russ. We'll kick him off now. Thank you so much. I'm going to do one last call in. Anyone else wants to call in? I'm happy to sit here for a minute. I'm sure Andrew has to get back to work here soon, but I'm chilling today. This worked out well. Robert here. Okay. We have a positive comment. JJ. Okay. I'll be positive. I actually think the logo is slick and well done. I understand people are still in love with 2.0. This is a different team and better branding team. Yes, I don't hate the logo. I just hate that that's all we got today. That is my concern. I don't dislike that.
Yeah, it's just the way the announcement was done and the way the rollout was done. That's kind of what I think most people are a little bit disappointed with today, or really disappointed with today. Again, it's just a matter of how much information we were expecting versus what actually came out. Now, I think Reed, I can speak for a lot of us. I think there's a lot of wishful thinking that's done, and especially with us as far as like getting announcement teams. But also think about it. The Rock literally said in December that we were getting 2 new team names and new cities in 1 to 2 months. It's April. We're getting into spring. Like I would think that with someone who is so calculated and so careful about what he's doing and where he's going, maybe he assumed that they had, or they were close to making some of those deals done and things fell through. I don't know, but like that part also seems a little disconnected too, because I wouldn't think that he would say that unless he really knew something was up.
It feels so weird to me now in retrospect, because it was December and then we had the Manning cast thing and we're coming in a couple of weeks. I know we got the NFL XFL partnership. I mean, I've talked to a lot of people. I talked with Ben Fisher about that with the sports show. He's like, I don't really know what's happening with this. I mean, it's not. I don't think that's as big a deal as maybe they wanted that to be, right? And so now we're sitting here. I just think this was the day. This was the day you had eyes. I had so many impressions on the tweet that I put out with the XFL. It was like 60,000 whatever impressions overnight with all this kind of stuff. I'm like, this is the time people are in this. And when it's this rug pulled out again and again, I don't blame people. I don't blame people for being frustrated. I get all that. We're getting a lot of like, does he sue the XFL? I like that. I like that, Ken. Let's pull up. I'm going to pull up the Axe logo here. Hang on before we go. Axe body spray.
Yeah. As I think, as Russ mentioned, the XFL is something that he, this is, again, look, I think that's what's going to happen with branding these days, right? You're always going to compare these things. I mean, look at this though. The font, I think it's not just the color. I think it's the fonting too. The font is really reminiscent.
Here, I don't want to shop. I want to, there we go. Okay. Dark Temptation. Yeah, it does feel. Well, now why is this not there? I mean, I get it. I get it. What was I watching the other day? I was watching something, and they had, because I have my company logo, and I think I was watching the Oscars, and they had some like their backdrop looked very much like the reels that I had in my Best Made Videos logo. I thought maybe I should be suing CBS or whatever. If anyone else wants to call in, we'll cut it off here at an hour unless anyone else wants to hop on before we go. We have getting the Jim Carrey. I hope they lean on the X. It's a good, I'm assuming a good looking mark on its own.
You know what's weird, Reed? I will say there's one thing I think, if I may jump in real quick. There's one thing I actually had a weird thought about earlier this week, which was, what if they changed the name of the league, which I thought would have been bonkers. Like I thought, but for some reason, when they did that kind of the X and X thing together on the water bottles, I thought, oh no, are they changing the name of the league? Like that's crossed my mind. Clearly they're not, but I would have thought that to me would have really been a strikeout on another road. Like that would have been really huge divide for some people.
I absolutely agree. I know that Mark Perry, our commander-in-chief, was a little worried that they were going to be calling it like the X League or whatever between the X. This is a good one. Jose has this. They should have at least announced a date. I agree. Like, hey, coming next month or coming in whatever. It's something before we go. I like actionable items, and I just don't see any actionable stuff here. We're gonna refresh this real quick before we go. It's like the shop is still down. all this stuff. It just, there's not a lot to do here. I was expecting, I told Matt Lyons tomorrow, I said, maybe we need to book an hour segment for you to come on, because I was hoping we would have a lot of stuff to break down. And it's just not a lot here. So,
I mean, I'm always full of thoughts, Reed. I will say this. You know what this feels like? This has major, this could have been an email vibes. This is exactly what it feels like. I think the actionable items point you make is exactly on point. Like, this could have been done. This could have been done on Twitter, on social media, right? Am I crazy for saying that? Like, I don't think it would have been offensive. I would have thought, oh wow, they're changing things up. Maybe things are coming up. Like, this seems like it could have just been done as a makeover on social media.
I completely agree. Could have been an email. Again, something actionable today besides signing up, putting in the zip code. I don't even think you can do that anymore. I think that's gone now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that was on the site with the countdown. Now I don't see anywhere to even sign up. So I mean, that's some web developer, got rid of that.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. When you change web design and you change over structure of how you present items, sometimes this happens where like a bug is not caught, or there's a catch, or I mean, Mark Perry could talk about that all day as a developer. Like, things just don't go well sometimes when you think you plan them out, and then other users get involved. So rolling out a new website is always really finicky, and I think this is the same thing here.
So you are able to go on. So if you go to xfl.com/tickets, you're able to put in your name. This is a different form than the one that was there before. The original sign up, you were able to drop. What's the zip code for?
Mm-hmm.
I guess getting interest, but God, you know where you're putting your teams at this point. I mean, they have like, this isn't like, well, maybe we're going to put one in Ohio now. But yeah, if you go to xfl.com/tickets, you can put all this, because the original one had a drop down where you would select the team, right? Like, I'm a fan of the Roughnecks or whatever. So that is that. Yeah. In terms of the league rebrand, they hadn't trademarked anything else. I was looking, I think yesterday or the day before. So, I mean, I'm glad they kept it the same at this point, if you're going to spend the money to buy everything. But whoever they paid to come up with this, I could have done an XFL logo lickety split as well. So
I think someone pointed out it looks a lot similar to the design for the Major League Football website, which
is that MLFB.com?
I believe so. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, we got that.
I mean, but like, look at this. I mean, there's like a pigskin header. There's colors. There's a little bit more, kind of like a little bit more for you to sink your teeth into. Even though, as much as we make light of this league and how they roll things out, like, I mean, look at this. Like, there's way more. We got news, like, personality to it.
We can buy. Patience is strength. No story yet, but we got. Yeah, this is a wild. The MLFB is wild on this. I don't know what's ever going to come with that. It does have, the logo does really have MLFB vibes on that. Anything else? Like, I don't want to beat a dead horse. Does anyone else have any comments they want us to break into? I mean, we're holding decent viewership. I just don't want to kick a dead horse too much on here. So just one piece of merch. Yeah, just a hat. I mean, you did the Black Friday hat. It's killing my head. This really is the most uncomfortable hat in the world, just the way the logo is so big.
See, that's interesting. So that the fact that they kept that design around long enough to sell it again on Black Friday, and somewhere along the lines, they must have decided this is not the identity of the league. I really want to know how many different ideas, different times that the vision changed in the last 2 years, because obviously things changed last year with all the CFL negotiations and talks, the design rechange. I really am like curious to see how many things changed over the last 2 years. Jeffrey Pollock leaving, what was a year into the buyout, like after it was resold on the auction, like I think it was a year later he finally departed. That to me is just what's so interesting about this, and coupled with frustration of not getting enough stuff is also like, how many times has this picture changed? And maybe they finally have it, but it's clearly a lot of things have gone on in the background, and a lot of discussions have been had.
Zach, Mark will be back on Monday. He'll have his XFL and USFL show, and then Mark will be zooming into our live show in Birmingham. I mean, we had Mike on the show back when the CFL talks broke off. Mike said very much that current XFL ownership was very close to moving on from the XFL, that they, sat down, did everything and did decide to move forward because, not that 15 million plus the debt wasn't a lot of money, but I mean, in terms of like Redbird, okay, are we really dumping in the money here? What are we doing with this? They have decided to move forward. I think that, I don't doubt their commitment now. I think that would have been the time to move on from it. My fear though, is if we're doing this rebrand now, is February too soon?
Well, we're back. We're kind of back to square one this last year, remember? So what time did the CFL talk start? March. And I remember all of you had a roundtable with Mark Berry and you all said, well, are you going to be able to roll out a league by next year? And the answer obviously was no. So I think I saw one comment, somebody saying like, can't wait for the 2024 hype video in fall. And I was like, I mean, it's starting to feel like that. Like, this is really the same thing. It's at some point, again, it's just continue to tag along. Let's see what happens. So
I will tell you, I don't want to sow fear here today. That's not my job. But I mean, if we're rebranding a lot of this stuff, I don't know. I don't know. That feels weird to me here if we're starting this from scratch now and moving this along. All right. I think we're good. Matthew, nothing to lose our zeal. I think we're good. Andrew, anything else from you? I'll plug everything else before we go, but anything else from you?
Well, looking forward to the next announcement video, Reed. Hey, I'm always happy to hop on. Thank you again for having me. Rain or shine, day or night.
Yeah, Andrew is my ride or die at this point. So a couple plugs. We're going to be back on Friday. We'll, if anything else, Matt Lyons will be coming on XFL News Hub. We're getting Matt back on. It's been like a year since Matt's been on. We're going to be dissecting all of this further, anything else that comes out. We're also going to have Victor Quee, my interview with him, president and CEO of the Edmonton Elks. Victor is great. That is who the XFL needs leading their vision right now. I mean, Victor gets it. He gets the fan base. He gets, he talked about, repairing this fractured relationship, right, between the fans of Edmonton and the Edmonton football team. I mean, even if you're not a CFL fan, just a lot of the ideas of league building and team building are Victor phenomenal that way, very successful. We also have Nick Slolsky is going to be coming on. Nick is I believe the COO of PointsBets Canada, talking sports betting, their new partnership with the Red Blacks and kind of that whole online gambling with the CFL. And then we have Jake Wieneke coming on. He is the all-star wide receiver for the Montreal Alouettes. Final plug, next Saturday, 2 p.m. Central, noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern. Andrew's going to be with me. We're going to have a slate of guests in Birmingham, the Southern Kitchen Restaurant and Bar. Roy Johnson, a columnist out in Birmingham. Ron Frederick, former Birmingham Stallions wide receiver. Mark Perry is going to be calling in. I'm sure we could talk a little XFL on the USFL pre-show. I don't care about that. Mike Mitchell is going to be calling in. And then we have Dustin from Royal Retros. And if I forget, I keep thinking I'm forgetting someone with that.
Did you say, I forget if you were having Matt Lyons or one of the other writers on, if I'm not mistaken.
I think Pat was going to come on. I think Pat has a work emergency now. So we're going to, I think that's good. I think we're going to have all that. So anyway, I appreciate everyone for checking out today. Like and subscribe. We'll be back 7 a.m. Pacific on Friday. I'm going to roll the get out here before we go. Why do I have a private chat message? Oh no, that's all fine. All right. Thank you guys all for listening. Check back next time. And thanks again, Andrew. We'll see you soon.